So here we are in creating a PeaceMakers challenge for the state of California and making them think that we can become the very first state ever doing it and creating peace. I can't hear you, Franka. Your mic is off. It's up. Okay, that doesn't matter. She's at least hearing. So creating the PeaceMakers game is a good idea. I love it.
Yes. So I'm sure this is the idea is so obvious that I'm sure my idea that it already exists, and you could easily combine it with your idea, especially young guys, you know, who want to be like all strong and whatever, you know, like all the stuff that young men want to be that I've never honored that much. But then I'm not a young guy; I don't have to be all that. Yeah, they can live a lot of things in a good way without creating really real harm, but they get to blow up shit and
yeah.
do
Well, the nice
it.
thing is that today, this evening with Jay or Jai Hughes, he's
Yes.
created this Collopoly, and I want to collaborate with him in creating a PeaceMakers Circles game and make it into something that could be like an app, and kids can play it and interchange with each other or whatever, interact with each other across continents and see what they can create, whether it's through the game or through any other way. Peace and everything is peace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what would have to happen? Who's that note taker? Is it yours or is that Joy Gilfield's?
My wife is just called. Just a moment.
Take your time.
His phone, please. Just called up.
Okay, I'll call up to him. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Kirk, answer your phone. Excuse me, did I just yell into your ear?
It's all right.
Sorry, I didn't put my thing on mute.
Okay, Joy. Now that I realize, oh gosh, there's Joseph. Joseph, hello. Hey, you're outside.
It's happening. It's happening.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, welcome.
And whose note taker is James's note taker?
Oh, it looks like James White, I would think.
Okay, so people can send their note takers.
It looks like
without
it.
being in the room.
Yeah.
Okay, for the record, there is a network. There are already some thought leaders and luminaries that are working in this gaming field. And Fortnite seems to be one of those games that can work even across other games or something. So ever since World of Warcraft, or even before, there have been games where young men, usually boys from different places on the planet have worked together. But the rationale of building something and doing something good and regenerative could possibly be programmed into either a new game that I'm sure it exists already, and a platform that could also be used for collopoly. Collopoly.
Yeah.
Yes. So we don't even need to talk about it. It's obvious. It's already being done. And those platforms can be enriched with more beautiful ideas, and possibly the news spread wider and further. But yeah, it's
and
a
I was
wonderful
also
idea.
thinking about making like a very short, I guess they call them reels and other kinds of different terms for it, in regard to having people have a tool to stop stress. Like somebody cuts you off on the freeway and we've talked about it before, I believe, pumping your thymus right away, yelling out, "Say, bless you," and getting it out of yourself, but in a blessing, and you're transmuting the negativity into a blessing. And then you thump your thymus to stop the overproduction of adrenaline. You then take your nice, good peacemaker breath, saying, "Thank you for peace in everything. Everything is peace." And you do that very slowly and consciously. And within 3 times at least, you're going to be much more calm and present and less distressed. And it's a rapid way to be able to alleviate the negativity.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
My vision of this is that there are between a dozen and 20 tiny modalities, like exhaling longer than you inhale. And if you were really stressed and scared, if you're not actually sitting in the car, but somebody bumped into you on the sidewalk, you can just, and you're courageous enough, you could just shake it out, jump a little bit. So lots of tiny things like that. And people can create their own menus and sort of practice in their mind, future pace it. If this happens, I can do that. If I'm that kind of ostensibly doing something, okay, I don't want to do it like that visibly. I'll just exhale, or I'll just tighten my muscles and release them. Just have a menu and a space where people can actually collate and edit their own emergency packs.
Yes. Beautiful idea. That's one of the things is my vision of a website, of Peacemakers website, that has that kind of thing available and easily to be able to, for people to be able to search and find.
Oh my goodness. And I'm looking at Joseph and I'm thinking, why not even have people take a little quiz, and then we'll already make some suggestions. Of course, looking at Joseph, we'll do some energy. Of course, some energy modules are going to be in there as well.
Yes.
So, okay, so the big vision is, I don't know how people are going to learn about it, but there'll be a little bit of an assessment, a quiz, and a little bit of a video thing, like an intro. Maybe you're going to be like Chaka, yeah, or Tony Robbins, and maybe that's your thing. Maybe you all ethereal, and just a mantra, your personal mantra is it, or whatever it is. You do energy, you do something muscular, you do something mental. You know what? We'll help you find the few things, 3 things that'll make the biggest difference and that are most aligned with you. And here's the quiz.
There you go.
How
That's
about
beautiful.
that?
Do you want to start putting together the quiz?
No, I'd only come alive with you guys. If you want to pick my brain, because this is all I do. I eat stuff and I think about stuff, but I usually don't have any output. So if you want to pick my brain, you got to make an appointment and we'll sit in this space and not leave it until it's done. That I can do.
Oh, wow. Wonderful. Sounds like something that Joseph is good at. Oh, did you see that look?
We're volunteering you, Joseph.
Yeah.
What did my face said?
What the F? I've not even had time to say hello, and here they're already using up my time. What?
No,
But we also have Ashok here, and I love to have Ashok here because he's always so present, even though he's not always seen, but he absorbs and is totally available to offer his gifts when he feels guided. Oftentimes he's at work, and I'm not sure if that's the case, but he looked like he was dressed up for work, and we can still have the benefit of that. Is that true, Ashok? You're at work?
I am. I have about 15 minutes, so yeah, just thought I'd join in and listen to your wisdom.
Well, we were going to tap yours instead of just listening to this viejito. Besides, we've got quite a game going right now, looking at how to be able to create a Peacemakers game. And not only that big challenge that we talked about earlier, but also a game that would stimulate people to find often ways to be able to create more and more peace, and collaborating and doing that whole thing. Also, the idea of having a website that would be able to have everything so accessible to people after having gone through a simple little questionnaire. And they would be then guided to, let's say, dealing with the stresses that they have. And we'd have the quick and easy things, and they can make a selection of different ways that they feel would be useful for them. So we might have 50 different ways to manage stress. And because of their answering some questions, we might guide them into having, say, 3 that would be selected for them, and they can always look through the others later. But it would more likely appeal to their psyche, so to speak, and when we have the questions that would be appropriate for that, to be able to guide them into a refining of what it is that we can offer them. Because our whole offering is a big cornucopia, as you know, of ways to bring peace to life. Yes, Franka.
Idea is to just help them find what makes the biggest difference in the shortest time. And it could be, like that one mantra could work for one person, and just this one image. Oh my goodness, I just imagine Tony Robbins. Oh gosh, yeah. I'm reminded, it's like an anchor, this whole vibe, whatever it is, help the person find those 3 things that make the biggest difference the fastest.
Uh-huh. Just had Tuck come in, and he asked a question, and he didn't know that I was on the PeaceMakers Circles, and so I let him know what's happening, and we get to be able to have. We've had an amazing time here at home. We have an archangel that dropped in that I met at the incredible film, and when it comes to a local theater, you get to see, if you're lucky, the man who actually was the man who saves the world, and it's a question mark. Man who saves the world, question mark. If you get a chance to see that movie, do it. We got to meet the dude, and we got to spend time with him and the producer and other people. And they were effective. Jane Goodall thought of this man as a mentor for her. Imagine that. And it was magic. So this guy got to stop over here, and he's going to be spending maybe 1 to 2 months here, because that's how our house is. It's like an ashram. People will drop in and stay for a while or what. And we all get the benefit from bringing in those superpowers. And the superpowers obviously are within and without, but we're never without the superpowers. I like that play on words. Ashok, you have insights. You look like you've been in it long enough. You may as well get those insights out.
No, I was just reflecting on meditation guided last night on the attributes to a Jivan Mukta, which had a lot of process similarities to Bodhisattva practice, and the idea that each of us have this capacity at any moment to tap into our source of energy and be of service without getting too decoherent or lost in the words or just the feelings. But yeah, you are and this group tends to draw the people in and draw out of us the Jivan Mukta or the Bodhisattva type of practice, which is a beautiful thing.
Exquisite. And what was interesting in what you just said was that just this morning, I got a phone call from a person at the Archdiocese of Washington. And I had actually called last week the Archdiocese of Baltimore, which is across the bay. And I called them for a particular man who deals with their education to be able to give them the Peacemakers Challenge written up specifically for Catholics to be able to take. And he replied that, you got the wrong number, but you can look here or there. And he ended up getting me the phone number. But we also said, well, look, what's happening with Washington? I thought I sent you something too. And I caught myself not being in that exact space that would have been optimum for Kurt to be in communicating what I wanted to communicate. I couldn't bring myself at the time fully to get into that Jivan Mukta space, but at least that just seeing of it, that witnessing of it, allowed me to be able to know who doesn't have work to do. What is it that I get to be able to do the next time? How is it that I'm going to approach any phone call? Because this only had a name on it. And I don't normally answer calls with a name, but this one happened to be answered because, again, I was guided to answer it. So this is what we get to do so much more in our time, is following that inner guidance, which is that bodhisattva source that pops up every once in a while.
Yeah. So I think going from silence to service and back to silence is our ordinary way, and it can be very beautiful and very harmonizing with our inner nature when we trust the process. But it takes a while to polish that so that you're not sticky to anything and you just go with the flow, so to speak. But I know it has lots of metaphors, but your idea of bringing all this coherently with a flow state into the heart, and then not getting too entangled in either the mind or the gut, but just kind of letting it ride its way and not judging it, it's a nice skill, and this group allows us to express that. So thank you. I'll have to go in a few minutes, but thanks. Yeah, I'll listen.
Excellent, thank you. There you go, Joseph. You've just stated enough.
I have a comment. It's so like energy flows, like we be in a flow, right? And so pleasure to hear the flow each of us here. Came to me, like, again, clarify what's going on in a way. If it doesn't flow, there's something in a way. And we live in a human world on planet Earth. There is something like, say, collective human consciousness, which is loaded, in a lack of a better term, with thought forms which are mostly not yet compatible with peace. Maybe this is the practice which allows the compatibility as you go through the, like, just pointing to what the cloud is, right? What the noise is, and just be resonating it correctly. It's the seed idea you always share.
It's interesting that I woke up with a thought that I basically spoke into my phone, and it was, so many people get caught up in the left brain and solving questions like, we got to solve a question with the P advisory board of a foot-long string, a foot-long ruler, and a hammer. And you had to attach the foot-long string and the ruler and the hammer to a table with only 1 inch of the ruler on the table, and the hammer and the ruler, the rest of the ruler and the string are off the table, not supported by anything, hanging on the edge of the table by 1 inch. Put long string, put long ruler, and a normal hammer. We solved it in 3 hours. But people solve these, and I asked a civil engineer who goes around the state of California to certify civil engineers every couple of years that they have to be certified. And they have a weekend-long training or recertification or whatever. And I asked him to ask the civil engineers that query before at the start of the weekend and have them solve it by the end of the weekend. He had to Google the answer. He didn't even figure it out himself. And here PE teachers figured it out in 3 hours. But why spend all that time on a stupid thing like that when we can ask people more profound questions like, how can we bring peace more alive in our life? How can I see peace here or create peace there? What will bring peace alive? Imagine that being the query and focus in schools. They can bring peace alive in science. They can bring peace alive in every element, like in the PE program, character development program of cooperative games. I'm going tonight to spend a few hours playing Colopoly. It's a game of like Monopoly, but Monopoly is trying to win and competing against the others, the evil ones like on Park Avenue and all of that. Well, Colopoly is something much different. We get to learn to cooperate to be successful. And that's the whole idea of the PeaceMakers Circles. That's the whole idea of creating more and more peace and using the brains to be and the heart resonating with the whole body to bring about peace in everything. Everything is peace. So boom, boom, shambo, we get to have it happen when people wake up and say, yeah, why should I spend my time on this issue? Why don't I focus on what I really want? What is really important in my life? What do you get to die with? You get to die with all your jewels and billions? Or do you get to be able to be free and happy most of the time? So, boom, boom, shambo.
I'd like to circle back to Joseph.
Yes, please.
Joseph, you talked about peace and flow being the natural state that we can expect to be in place. End of story. If we're not in flow and peace, there's a cloud, there's something in the way. And I'd like to hear more about how to not just ohm and Kurt your way into peace, like some better state and whatever, but you wanted to acknowledge what might initially be in the way. Can you talk to that a little more? And what is the potential collection of things that might be in the way that you're thinking of?
Well, I was pointing to like collective consciousness, which we all have, like, depends where you focus. I'm focused in my individuality, my Joseph I am, and I go a little wider, and I'm tuned with the planet, and I'm tuned with. We have so much capacity. So again, go get to know yourself, right? Find out what part of consciousness makes you come alive. For like I think we are circling the same topic all the time. It's just, talking about it. It's like being it together, sharing it. I'm getting more insight. Sometimes the thoughts align better, so I can see, like, say, different angles. however, starting with beliefs, that you put it on the way, I believe it's certain way and it's going better. That's how I put myself on trajectory of positive expectation and faith and hope, and I'm able to generate gratitude easy, and you know, it's like solid base. Like my geometry is aligned with what I'm expecting by setting myself into the geometry consciously, right? Piecing myself in out through.
Yeah, Joseph, I might just add, I really like that visual. Joy Gilfillan, she sometimes joins this group. She gives us the example of a toroid as a sacred geometry. And when you were talking about getting flow, if you as an individual are in the middle of the toroid and you find a state of freedom where you're not sticky to anything on the side of the electromagnetic vortex, then you can go inside out, outside in, and time will also become holographic. So I think then we don't get anxious about how we use our time, and we also feel dimensionless and yet completely at peace, right? So that is a steady state that I was embodying with these properties of or skills as a way of being. Either in Hindu tradition, we were talking about Jivan Mukta, and in Buddhist tradition, it's a bodhisattva. But you are only aware of awareness, and you try not to judge anything that your ego is trying to connect to, because that you want that last bit of freedom so you can let go to become and to be your whole self, right? So I really like this idea of how you find the flow in your own energetics, and you go inward to diagnose where your blocks are, and then you work on ways to heal or open up that chakra or that blockage. And yeah, so many, like you said, so many different ways that every practitioner is trying to describe their journey to inner freedom. And that's why Kurt's example of pieces of peace and finding peace in everything without having it become distorted or fragmented from the whole is our practice, is to leave it not codified by any one symbol or any one religion or any one practice, but to know that we have this common quest to seek deeply, inquire, and understand ourselves in service of others, though. And then the other on the outside becomes you on the inside, right? So I'm not telling you anything you don't already know as self-evident truth, but I hope it's reaffirming that we're in this curiosity together, and the collective does influence the individual. Yeah. And that wasn't pre-engineered, right? So that's a beautiful thing, Franka and Kurt and Joseph, is this is spontaneously self-organizing, and um, it's owned by everyone, including AI that's taking notes.
The nice thing about all of this is that Frank is going to speak up, but I want to be able to put out one idea.
No,
Is
no,
that-
no, no, no.
No?
I was going to ask a question. And before I ask my question is, if I don't understand something, am I allowed to interrupt anybody, or does that interrupt their flow too much? Like, for example, I was going to ask Ashok, definitely before you add your next idea, Kurt, what this toroidal thing is. I hear Joy talk about all kinds of shapes a lot of times, and I kind of get lost. And I was wondering, Ashok, what you meant with the going in and out, and what is this shape that Joy even mentions?
Yeah,
That Joy mentions even has to do with anything. I
yeah.
just don't
So,
understand it. I'm not familiar with it.
oh, but maybe two that make sense to me that are easier. One is a donut.
Shape.
The shape of a bagel or a donut is an electromagnetic coil that also has a different size and power and all. But then the other is in that middle hole of the donut or bagel, you can think of those blockages or those narrow areas as like an hourglass. So if you take an hourglass and put that in the middle of the donut or bagel, and then you imagine yourself as a fluctuation of sand going through in a gravitational way from one pole to the other side or one dimension to the other side. That is your vortex and that's your connectivity. And I think as we get into communion or yoga or into the fused superpositioning of a quantum field, all of us with our waveform can go in through this singularity together. And we have it in astrophysics, we have it in voltage, we have it in different domains of science. But I think to keep it simple, when Joy refers to a toroid, I think of a donut or a bagel, depending on how healthy I feel. And then I think about astrophysics and I think about the hourglass that connects one side of a dimension of a white hole with the other side as a black hole. And you're just trying to not get stuck anywhere as you go from one to the other or transform the energy from one to another because it holds us all together. And you know, when you take a charge, a positive or negative, you will attract in physical reality, you'll attract the opposite because there has to be a countermeasure or a counterbalance. And yeah, but yeah, an hourglass and a toroid, does that help?
So I'd have to have a conversation where I get to interrupt much more often
Yeah.
because already I understand shapes and I understand something flowing, but what that even is, and I don't want us to have the conversation now, like because it's probably boring the tits off of everybody.
Well, it needs to be
But I'd have
spoken.
to,
It is.
yeah, I'd
It
have
is
to like
necessary.
be interrupting you way more earlier, and it would have to be like a dialogue between the two of us because I'm lacking the very basis because I've bought into it way too often. Like we all radiate something and there are poles and all that. I've bought too many things wholesale that I've not actually unpacked. And it would have to be unpacked in a dialogue with much smaller chunks for me to actually incorporate these things. So no, it doesn't help, but thank you.
Okay. Well, okay, we tried.
I have a question,
Great. I
and
love
that is about the opposites that you mentioned. But I believe that physics has something called neutrons.
Mm.
So the neutron is neither positive nor negative. And that's the space, I believe, where the bodhisattva lives, where the Sadguru lives, however you want to term these terms in Asia. We would say an enlightened being or a saint or whatever in the Western traditions. There's all kinds of names, or some people call him God, some people call him creator, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So right, to transcend polarities, you have to at some point put all the pieces together. And I do think that's the role at the intersection of the interface and the interfaith that we can feel healed, is if you know all the parts and you can see all the perspectives, then you will feel peace.
I think there's a
But it's
beloved
not
word.
just right, but it's not just feeling and it's not just doing, it's being. And being at peace is a lot different when you're moving and feeling restless. And so, and I do have to work. So I'm going to be going off the call, but just to know that you can create multiple versions of yourself and stay connected in spirit, however you want to religiously describe that Holy Spirit, but that there is space for more than our partial gods that we might come up with as a representation of the whole or whole, right? So,
Yes.
I think being neutral in this day and age is not helpful to humanity. We actually have to take a position and defend that faith in serving all of humanity, whether you want to make sure people don't get eliminated because their voice is oppressed or they're not found at the table, or only certain people using AI and economies are influencing the future trajectories. So there is a social responsibility to having the type of power that you do, Kurt. But yeah, I think since this is on AI, I'll just leave it at that.
Well, that's one of the interesting things about AI. About 60% of it is used by governments.
Yeah, and it can be hacked, and so we just have to know what when we're hallucinating or when we're in deep reality, and who's the keeper of all that intellectual property. But I got to get back to work. Thanks, Kurt.
Thank you, thank you, thank
Namaste.
you.
You
Love
guys are
you.
wonderful.
Namaste.
Franka, you're a genius.
Isn't she?
Yeah, you
Bless.
are. And keeping it simple, that's really important.
Totally, totally.
Ashok, bye-bye.
Love to your family, mate. Yeah, cheers.
Thank you.
Oh boy.
What has him think I might be a genius? I'm just going back. I'm tracing my steps. What might I have possibly said?
He's not the only one that thinks you're a genius, excuse me.
I'm just wondering what might have prompted him to say that. I just really don't know. That's funny.
Well, at least he knows. And that's the important thing. Because you are a pure being and living a wonderful, sweet life, giving as much as you can and serving others as much as you can. We already know that aspect of you, but the rest of you that we see more of, so to speak, that's the important thing for us, because you bless us with your presence and your glow and who you are for what you've been doing or not doing. Because some of it's also in not doing. Some of it is just like he said, in being, just simply present with those people you get to be present with. Look at the people you just introduced me to that were in your apartment or outside your apartment or wherever. You've always introduced others, and they know the graciousness of this Franka that we know.
Oh,
Yeah, don't take it personally. It's nothing wrong about being genius.
Yeah.
I just find it remarkable, and I feel very flattered, and I love it, and I can even identify with it to some extent. But I'm just wondering, what had him think that? How did
Of
he
course you
get
can.
there?
Look at it, it's all over the time that he's known you. It's not just a simple one-off kind of thing. because a genius doesn't act just once.
Mm,
Genius comes out in the moment and oftentimes.
gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha.
One of the interesting things is that I'm looking to see where we can post these things because I haven't posted them on my little page, so to speak, that I have on YouTube. But I believe that we ought to start doing that so people who just happen to touch base with it. And how are we gonna? We get to get a summary from AI of the session. We can get it from Joy or maybe James's note taker because I didn't put a note taker on, or I don't know if I get notes or not. This man is not so techy. But if we did have a pithy paragraph so that we could put it as a description, people might search a certain thing and then find this particular issue is exactly what they need to be able to play with to evolve to a next step for them.
Mm. Or they would know who of us, which of us to talk to chew on a certain idea.
Yes. And then through that, comments or something, if people paid attention to it, they would be able to get in touch with us, or maybe, I don't know if you want to put your contact information in underneath or what. If you do, we can always put it in, and if you don't, we wouldn't, and so on. But
Yes.
otherwise, just let people play with what they get. And the more comments these pages have, the more likely it'll be seen because, and same thing with views. That's why I suggest to people on HR, Humanity Rising, to be able to comment on each of the programs and to say, like or dislike or whatever. And that way they may be able to be seen more.
Mm. Yes. And I think we were already talking about something, and Joy had instigated this repeatedly, that we put down our profile. And my profile is different for the PeaceMakers circles than it is for corporate customers. So maybe use some of this time we have together to, like in my case, I would say something like create a space where we could dig deeper and question our beliefs and work out what those implicit frameworks are that we work within. And what have we already bought wholesale that we don't actually know how it works? Like I just caught myself. So yeah, stuff like that. So people would know, oh, okay, Franka is good for that. And then Kurt, with his satsang, need a bit of a pick-me-up, need that wonderful velvety voice.
Velvety, huh?
Incantations.
Mumbo jumbo.
Whatever. I'm just, like, this is one of your many gifts. I don't think I could do that.
Oh, your
So
sweet
yeah, we
voice
could do that.
is great.
I would probably have to do it like Joy had given it to us to do as a homework. I don't do homework.
Oh, I've
But
never done homework hardly.
there you go.
Well, actually, I have
So,
in doing the Peacemakers Circle and all that kind of stuff. I do it every day. The Peacemakers Challenge, or all the different areas that I propose to people, I do. If I didn't, how are people going to be able to follow somebody who's not walking the talk?
I'm not sure that I heard this properly. Say that again.
You think I can repeat it?
Well, something like it.
Because I am the peace that I am believing in. Total peace is possible, right? And I am the peace.
Right.
It ignites in others. As you see Joseph throwing his arms up, he feels like he's ignited. And he's
I'm
going
going to use this quickly.
he's going to be knighted also, but that's another story.
Cheers.
We'll be able to see their vision of peace come alive. And then we unite together like we have, and coming together regularly to bring forth peace in everything. Everything is peace. And these little satsangs or sanghas or these gatherings of the seekers of truth allow us to be more likely to continue seeking the truth because we get what you might call reinforcements. And what are they? They may be just some simple comment of somebody because we don't have a whole brigade of people behind us. And if we did, it would be even a more powerful expression because when we get those brigades of people behind us serving each other as they would like to be served, then we have more peace in everything. Everything is peace.
Okay. More people that serve rather than that need serving. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, there could be easily an equal amount that needs serving, but when they're attending these programs or they see these programs, they just listen to them on a channel, then they can enact some of the things that they get insights into. And so what's happening? The whole piece is starting to generate more and more, and it goes greater. That one person who does it on YouTube, it might be just one person who sees this and takes it into heart. They bring it into their life, and everybody is affected in their circle, their family, their community, because that one person is more peaceful and is maybe even talking about more peace and how to create more peace, and maybe turning people on to this site or this particular way of going about creating peace in everything. Everything is peace.
Yes.
Bill Graham would be on now, but Bill, he's had surgery a couple of weeks ago, and he's also in the process of moving. So think about he's a little bit challenged, but who isn't challenged? Everybody's got something happening in their life, and Bill is strong enough to get through the surgery and this move because of all the things that he's done in his past in peacemaking and doing Rotary Dare to Be Great Club and so many other things.
Yeah, I allow myself comment about, you said it's more like reinforcement to the piece. I would really take it to the very building blocks of it. It's right.
Well, what do you think the building blocks are?
And must be personal resonance, something which resonates with me in a way I love it, right? Opposite to I'm willing to stress about it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, no, also I'm kind of thinking that term peace-making circle, makers, right? That's like producers. So it's kind of very 3D thinking. But I like the making, the dynamic in it. It's a process, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the word, the meaning of anchoring the piece, right? We anchor the consciousness in a planes which holds the the enough space for everything to emerge in a resonance, in a peace. I lost you there.
Well, the resonance of peace is only brought about by that focus that we have in the heart. And to be able to, because the heart is open, we then start to give more. And we then, in the act of service, the heart is opened up even more, and others feel that heart, that love, because of that service, and they get inspired possibly by that service, and they can say, well, look, I'll help serve here at this food kitchen, or I'll help serve in creating a peace garden where we have pollinators and vegetables and things like that grown to feed other people. Simple little things that can be brought forth just because of that inclination of one or more people and bringing it to life.
Beautiful. I hear the human nature part of it, of human nature, the need of belonging, need of part of being some connection. Right?
Yes. Yeah. It's a primary force is that unity and diversity, because otherwise we'd get bored if we saw the same, everybody's blonde haired or whatever, or everybody has blue eyes. You know, my wife actually has a little sort of a tinge of hazel in her eyes, in one of her eyes, I should say. So everybody, the beauty of life is this diversity and that allowance of being able to see and accept the kind of beauty that is expressed. I can appreciate my wife's love of jicama. It's a root plant. I don't like it because it's not so tasty for me. I mean, I just can't say I don't like it. I eat it with some hummus and so on or something, but she devours it. She does the same thing with some other food. Well, I have my favorites, you know, and so on. And so each of us can accept each other's, let's say, propensities and loves and likes. It's like, Joseph, you and your wife are so different too. And you both accept and have this other form of unity because of that acceptance. And this diversity that we have with note takers. I mean, holy cow, we have AI, we have a silicon spies here. And we accept those. Now, why? Because we know that technology can be used just like anything else, like your hand can be used to choke somebody or to bring them back to life. I want to share something that Bill Graham just shared with me in a text that he's been meaning to talk to me about mobilizing the masses to live peacefully in the world that's about to change so rapidly. A challenge competition to get people engaged in informing everyone of the impending changes and getting everyone to participate in defining what kind of world that would be best for all in the post-labor world, because he knows so much of what is happening in the AI community in regard to having robots taking over all kinds of jobs, from surgeries on people, to all the other jobs that we have. Imagine we don't have any more people delivering mail. It's just a mail robot. And what's he driving? He's not driving. He's got a cart behind him and he's just pulling it because he's the robot. He has all that strength, or whatever it might be, however it comes forth. But times are changing very rapidly. So again, we get to set up a structure or an idea of where we want to go and how we want to go. That Bucky Fuller quote kind of a thing. Yes, Franka.
I'd like to work out how to split up this problem or this task. And one distinction I can make out, and it's probably not very original, is how can people even stay afloat and keep body and mind together? And this would be some kind of funding, even though they've become superfluous, redundant. So that's one piece. And then, of course, the other is, and it could that could include intentional communities that are just growing their own stuff, but not everybody can jump into that right away. I don't even know if we have enough soil to do that. So really, that would be, how can people even stay alive? And I'm sure a lot of people will commit suicide. How can we prevent most of that from happening? And then the
And
other thing is what, go ahead.
the big thing about that is this idea about cooperate, is to be able to, when we do this idea of cooperation, so the people out in the fields that have land around them can get into using their mycelium and all kinds of other things that are going to be able to make it flourish even more and produce even
Yes.
more. And we then distribute it in the ways that are so simple because of the AI things that are happening. And it's in a distribution complex that feeds everybody equally. And when you say everybody equally, there's not some people getting massive amounts because they think they're going to be gluttons the rest of their life. We get people fed the amount that they need to be fed, and to be able to make it so that there's going to be real tasty food, real good, this, that, and the other thing. So nobody is suffering. They're still having their pleasures in life. Why? Because it can be given through the use of this focus on the best for everyone and everything.
So I'm sure there's so much to be said about this, Kurt. Let me just go on with the structure.
Yes.
I don't believe that we can jump into that utopia that you're describing right away. So there has to be some political will to get, while money is about, something that will enable people to buy what money will buy. And then that one doesn't exclude the other, but that is an urgent thing that has to be set up now. I'm not a person to do anything, but I see this as urgent.
Yes,
And then,
yes, I totally agree.
So we have the bodies staying alive somehow, with your thing, with my thing. And really, I just wanted to structure it, but even though I was just going to structure it, I need to reiterate, we cannot just watch as more and more money gets funneled up and not redistributed. Some really big political will has to change the needle, move the needle toward putting something back into people's pockets. And I know that's kind of happening. It's kind of happening because the tech bros want to keep selling us stuff, but I don't know if it happens timely enough. And even if it happens for the wrong reasons, it just happened. It needs to. And somebody, some power, some collection of people, I don't know what, some force will have to make sure that that happens, just because people's lives matter for that reason. And then the other thing, once people are just barely alive or even thriving, whatever, whichever way, purpose. Oh gosh, they'd all drank the Kool-Aid of, go to college, get a job, get a mortgage, pay it off. So now what's the new narrative for most people? Really finding a new purpose. So that, and then there's so much more, but so bodies staying alive, and then what then are we doing about being alive? And then I'm open to everything, and there are probably 100 chapters underneath this big issue.
Easily. Yes, Joseph.
I like the distinguishment between prosperity consciousness and lack consciousness? Which one we choose?
Once people are alive, and I'm coming from lack, because I could just be like, oh, let's all be in the flow, we'll work something out, I'll discover what I can grow even on my windowsill. That may all come, but until that is established, I do want to come from scarcity and refunnel some money to folks. Yes, and if you call that scarcity, I can live with that very well.
You know, it's interesting. Somebody just won $5 billion in the California lottery. And he is using that money to help rebuild this one area of Altadena where I just drove through and had a chance to be able to see the incredible devastation that so many houses were just obliterated. And in the fight that we have here in my locale of saving old oak trees, it was interesting to see in Altadena, there would be houses. The only places where you would see a house that was still there was ones that had oak trees around it. They're the ones that protected it from being burnt. And it's not only the oak tree, but all the mycelium beneath the soil that kept the tree itself alive during the intensity of the fire. You talk about 1,000-degree temperatures in that kind of a fire. And it was breathtaking. And you didn't want to, in a way, take your breath because you didn't know if it was going to be a toxic inhaler or not because of all the pesticides and herbicides that were used on the plants around those neighborhoods for so many years. But for me, I'm always protected. And I always have a sense that this body is a tool. And so it is impervious to such things. But that's just me being the crazy person that I am. But at least I get to live happily ever after instead of fearing this, that, or the other thing because I look on the dark side. And we get to have Lynn here. You see what happened? We talk so many good things and she pops up.
I know.
Hi, Lynn. Welcome.
Sorry, I forgot the hour change. There's a different. You started an hour ago, didn't you? I thought this was the beginning. So sorry, I've just only just come in.
No
I was
worries.
I was in a Zoom just now with you, Caravan and Kurt Johnson and people. So I was on the English time. So of course, when I came in here, I thought I can just about make it, and I just realised that's the second time I've made a mistake this week.
Well, it seems
From
like
somebody
Jonas
else.
might have done the same thing. Welcome, Jonas.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, good. And you?
Oh, not bad. It's getting dark and darker here.
Well, you are in Sweden.
I am.
Oh,
It's getting darker and darker here, but we have it's supposed to get in the 80s here today.
F you.
Yeah.
Jonas,
That's
we
nice.
were talking about how to proliferate some good ideas. We were talking about games and, the gaming community. And I just watched how Fortnite actually unites people and how they can just keep evolving. And I just wanted to add for everybody that Jonas has worked out how to use AI to create movies, like proper, super professional looking movies. So if you want to create a narrative, a story that highlights something that plays with where people might be right now and, give them all the sticking points and then probably some new information in a convincing, compelling way, Jonas is just the man.
Thank you, Franka. We had a great chat the other day. And yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's I always felt sort of compelled to be amongst the the heathens to spread the word to because that's what we need. I think we need all of us to be more prepared to feel and reflect
From the heart.
as well, and from the neck and from the bones and from the everything.
It's just, I just feel at the moment, you know, people, I'm constantly doing this with people that I deal with, and, you know, to get them to come out of their head into their heart so they can feel the truth now and be in the truth of themselves, because there's so much, you know, this new consciousness evolving. People need to just rest and be with themselves, don't they?
Yeah, there's a long discussion to be had around the truth.
One's
And
own truth we're talking about, not
yeah,
everybody else's.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so this film that I made, it is all about trying to use an ordinary, familiar form, which is a murder mystery, Agatha Christie sort of Midsummer Murders sort of plot, and bake in more emotional intelligence into it, just to sneak it in there.
Jonas, I've just grabbed the link to your Substack
Thank you.
with your article and the film. Shall I just pop it in the chat?
Thank you, Franka. Please do.
Absolutely, you have to watch this. Even if you didn't agree with the message at all, just have a look at what Jonas can do with the AI, what movies he can create. It is breathtaking.
Yeah, it's been a journey. It took two months to make it, which is so it's a 19 minute long film. It took 2 months. And so yeah, it is amazing to work with these tools to tell your story.
So how many months did you say?
It took me 2 months.
Can't. 2 months, okay. Okay, Lynn, I'm going to send it to you in an email.
Okay, because somebody the other day, this happened somewhere else, and somebody made us all co-hosts so we could actually select it and copy it, which I didn't know you could do. So thank you. If you could send that to me in an email, that would be lovely. Thank you.
Yes, I'm doing it right away.
As a Kurt crashed out, it looks like.
Yes, he might have done, because, you know, I just don't know what this hurricane's doing to everybody. The internet might have gone.
Yeah, it might be.
Where are you from, Joseph?
Grew up in Prague, in Czech Republic.
Yeah, so we're all over here, you see. So maybe the American internet's messing about.
Well, no, I'm in LA now. I live in Los Angeles.
Oh, you are? Oh, okay. So you're still here. I don't know what happened to Kurt then.
He said there were things going on in his house.
Oh,
like
okay.
he had to
I didn't
juggle
hear that.
all kinds of balls. But still, he would normally probably just stay on, just mute himself. I don't know. Maybe he did say
Well, he
he was
might
going
come
to
back.
drop off.
He might went
Yeah.
suddenly. He might have gone suddenly.
Lynn,
Yeah.
Lynn, are you across the pond as well, or are you still on the right side of life?
England.
So the right side of the pond then.
We're neighbors. We live in the same
Well,
county.
literally, it's the right side, but we better not say the right side altogether.
Yeah, it is the right side.
Yeah. Oh, here's Kurt back.
There he is, Kurt.
My
We were
computer knocked me off of Zoom for some reason, and I'm not sure how or why, but here I am, and I'm so happy you guys are playing together already. I'm sure you're about ready to start dancing too.
Yeah. Might do that.
Yeah. And I got to learn a lot. It seems the last thing I heard was that Jonas is creating these movies with AI, which obviously he sent me a little teaser, so to speak. And so I love teasers, but I like to have the full pie too.
To chew on.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to be able to
Also,
create incredible short little movies like 15-minute kind of things and
Yeah.
hit the airwaves with a lot of pithy, useful tools.
It is a very useful tool, and I've been diving deep for a couple of years, both in coding. I mean, I don't know coding, and all of a sudden I can create all these different tools, which is absolutely amazing. But yeah, so this like I mentioned to the others here that it took me 2 months to make this film. And so the whole purpose of it is it's like a Trojan horse in a way. So it's a murder mystery, and I sneak in sort of even try to sneak in emotional intelligence. And this character of mine, this Dr. T guy, I let him invent the ideology of affectism. And affectism is a realization that we feel before we think. So we need to adapt ideology and our views on of the world and politics accordingly. Because if we realize or acknowledge that we feel, then we might as well, our reality changes. And then a lot of people out there currently, as we know, try to avoid feelings and say they are wrong or weaker or less worthy than the rational thought, which I try to go against. Hence, I believe in the Peace Project.
and we had a deep conversation because I'm a psychologist and I've been trained to acknowledge and know all the shortcuts the brain takes that are erroneous, that only work most of the times, but societal programming, trauma, and just salience of information. It's just so, anyway. So I'd like to have a deeper conversation about what the scope is or the zone of where this is to be applied, where it isn't yet, Jonas, and then find out where all the touchy-feely stuff may actually be dangerous. So I'd like there to be some nuance rather than just crowning that prince that's been so neglected and only been sneakily enthroned by advertising and whoever wanted to grab our attention. So I'd like that, in my mind anyway, there needs to be a deeper conversation and nuance.
Absolutely. No, it's not. It's not about crowning anything really. It's about pointing to something that is real. That it's real, that we feel. That's it.
And that is usually a lot of times when I studied it, and I was coming from just one particular angle is, oh my goodness, look how vulnerable the information is, how flawed the information is that you get from all the feeling stuff. And now I want to be in your camp and really say, yeah, let's not only acknowledge it to warn ourselves and each other from using that as information, but actually let's go there as well to know something deeper, something that is true that we have neglected. But really, those two things need to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
The warning, don't take yourself too seriously because you're feeling something. Take that as information and then scrutinize it.
Yeah.
Do feel and then scrutinize.
Yeah. But at the same
Mhm.
time, which can be difficult to accept, I guess, is that the feeling of rationality is also a feeling.
Yeah, but the trouble is the AI is wonderful, but it doesn't have its own emotion. So anything regarding emotion is what it's picking up on other people, which may not be emotionally felt from the heart. It can be things people have picked up when they're in their brain, and that's where it can clash a little bit.
How do you
Can I
mean?
just go one step back, just tiny, just to put that in the discussion, and then come back to you. Then real quick, the feeling of being right. It's actually been studied. Irrational or rational. There's a little experiment I do with my participants. I write a word that everybody knows on the flip chart, the whiteboard, or whatever, and I just misspell it. And then I ask people what they feel when they look at it and where they feel it. And it is a feeling in the front of their body, and it's slightly to the left or to the right. It's off center. And then I correct that and I spell it correctly, and I ask them what they feel then. And it's a feeling right in the center of their body. So there is that thing, and I just wanted to slip that in. There is a feeling of right or wrong.
Yeah.
I just wanted to slide that in, Lynn,
Yeah,
and you go back right
super.
back to your discussion.
Yeah, it's super
Sorry.
interesting. And yeah. I can relate, actually. Being
Try it out. We could
Yeah.
do this right now. It is so strong, and this is actually our unconscious strategy. When we scribble something, we don't know how something is spelled, and we write it down, and then we compare it. This is exactly what we do.
Yeah.
Only I put it under the magnifying glass when I make that that little experiment. Sorry,
Yeah.
Lynn. You were talking about the
Okay.
feeling of AI that AI cannot feel, and I just needed to slip that quick thing in real quick.
It's just, I mean, I keep mentioning heart feelings, and I think I don't know whether who follows astrology here, but when the COVID prophecy came out in 2023, which I'm sure all of you have seen the video of that 4-minute video, it was all about Pluto as well at the same time, saying you need to get rid of old issues and live totally in your own truth. And then in June last year, 2024, it was only a couple of weeks after that I realized that was the 18-month period that we had to do something about bringing the planet back to cleanliness and nature. It was all at that time where then it was chaotic because it had come to the end of their 18-month timing that they gave from the end of December 23. So that was okay because that reflected Pluto going retrograde. So, it's almost like now you can just get on with it if you haven't done it. And Pluto came back into direct last week. And it's here, I think, for 20 years. So to me, that is very poignant because we must live in our own truth. Otherwise, how can we give out love instead of fear?
One of those things that you just brought up, the timing sounds exactly like the timing of the Kogi prophecies too. And the Kogi, if you don't know, are a tribe that was recently, quote, discovered in Colombia, in the Sierra Nevadas. And they mentioned that there's going to be all these incredible destruction if by the end of that time, things have not started to change so much. And of course, we've had 200-mile-an-hour hurricanes and so on and so forth, and the fires and etc. So And Pluto is got one of the qualities, I believe, about some sort of destruction, but Pluto is not just about destruction of the good, it's also the destruction of the bad. And what that might be leading to is the creation of new ways to be able to build, new ways to be able to come together, and so on and so forth. But I'm, as you know, Lynn probably knows real for sure by the way I'm talking, I am not even close to being an astrologer. Just a sense
But
of
it's
what
amazing right now how reflective everything that's happening. Gregory. Yeah.
Lynn,
I
Lynn,
need
can
to
I
quickly
get
ask a
that?
question. I need to
Sorry.
definitely,
Who?
I need to ask the
Sorry.
following question. Just ask a question, and this is the question. Is that the prophecy that said, if there aren't a few representatives who speak and act for Mother Earth, Pachamama, Gaia, she is just going to cleanse herself from
Yes.
this pest?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. And
Yes.
have we gathered enough momentum with enough people already? And has this this deadline run out already? Talk to me about that, please.
Well, it ran out. It ran out in June this year.
Is she not going to shake us off?
Well, she's doing a good job of what she needs
Yeah.
to do right now.
Yes.
If you want to call it that, a good job. But the thing is that when we are getting so many more people awake with the change that needs to be done, and this simple idea of this peacemaker challenge that is getting set out there, that and what is happening with the peacemakers groups in the Rotary Club and the the world people, and there's a number of organizations like the evolutionary leaders circles that are gathering the indigenous ones together and dancing and singing and having incredible ceremonies, because ceremonies bring a great power of focus for people, and people need focus now because everybody is distracted. They're distracted by all the separation demon and making it so that we are this, that, or the other thing, but you're not right, I'm right, and so on. And
That's love instead of fear again, isn't it?
it is totally. And there's a man staying with us now that has been trained by not only the Kogi but also the other tribes in that area. He is going to be here for about 1 to 2 months. He's been bringing us through a process that has been incredibly opening for our entire family, because we have a diverse family where I live. I don't have a normal family. I have a man that's been living here.
Who does? Who does?
Well, I'm talking about people who I live with. There's my wife and I, and that's, quote, my immediate family. But we've had a person living with us for 10 years, and he happens to be a Teamster, and he happens to side in some ways with Trump, in some ways with this, but never with, whatever. He's got his head on his shoulders in so many ways. He's a very good man to have here at our home. And then Tuck, who just left recently, just now, to go off to PT or whatever, and he is somebody who was kicked out of his house by his wife after 50 years of marriage. And we took him in because my wife and he had been working with Pachamama Alliance for about 5 or 10 years. And he's been a family member ever since. And he's very much of an academician, and I'm not even close to that. Now, I've taught at universities and stuff, but I'm not an academician. And so we have interesting dialogues together. But all of us have been able to grow even more together with this archangel that is sort of dropped in, and allowing us to see the fact that we are, in a way, developing into that kind of an archangel type and being able to take on the idea that is actually what is at the essence of all the religions. And that's in Sanskrit, it's tattvamasi, thou art that. Or as if Jesus said, be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect, then you can be frickin' perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. And if he is perfect and your Father in heaven creates miracles, what can you create? We can all be miracle makers. And it's happened in my life, it's happened in other people's lives, that we can actually do that. People can walk away after a bad injury and walk away with normal. I should say normally, excuse me. Got to use proper English with an English lady here.
So,
Thank you, Kurt.
Yeah. I'm so blessed to be with you guys. Thank you for being here. But guess what? We get to all come on time next week. And we get to come with that, again, that gift that each of us is going to create in the week. What are we creating in a grander version of our greatest vision of peace? And when we have that as a forethought, it's something that is an offshoot of what Neil Donald Walsh had offered in some of his books. The idea of creating the grandest version of your greatest vision of yourself. And what is that going to look like next week? We've already seen people flourishing so much more. You're all more radiant, even quote online. Now, how does that happen? How does that come forth on this AI silicon kind of thing? Don't know, but it's a sense that everybody here has of each person on this call. It's what we know inside. And it's beyond just the body. It's something else. And yeah.
So what's been going on today for you, Kat? We've been busy.
Pardon?
What has been going on for you today, Kat? Have you been busy?
I do go. I've been making some cookies for tonight's adventure at Toddy Blackstone's. We call it the Sacred Serengeti. She lives in a place across the San Fernando Valley from me. She's on the west side. I'm on the east side. She's at a similar height, if not a little lower than we are. So she doesn't have as grand a view as we do. But what she gets to look out at looks like the Serengeti. And we've given workshops. I gave a silent retreat there for 3.5 days. And so she's had gatherings like that, as well as we've put on the Uprising Together group that just had a program on Sunday with a person that deals with what they call the pink tent group. And it's all about women coming together and expressing and opening to things that women may not have opened to in regard to rapes or in regard to their menstrual cycle or in regard to whatever it might be. And at the gathering, I mentioned, that is so necessary for some people. But the most important thing is to create a purple gathering where the men and the women at all ages come together and see that at certain times in our life, we are all vulnerable to so many different things. We all have changes in our body. The boys are jacking off, the women are wanking off, whatever. The women are menstruating and so on and so forth. We're having desires that come up. Well, how do we deal with them? When we discuss them, it isn't disgusting. It's a unity, it's a growth, it's an acceptance. And so the two sides can come together as one, and we have so much more joy. And there's where that neutron comes in, putting those two protons and electrons together with a neutron in there.
Do you live close to the Hansen Dam? Is that close to you where you are?
That's right. I can look down, and my wife walks that dam
Yeah,
a few times a week. It's about 2 miles long, and she'll
yeah,
walk it. And I don't like walking it because it's down in amongst some of the muck. To one side, you see a bunch of sort of semi-industry and so on. The other
yeah,
side, if you look up to the hills, San Gabriel Mountains are there,
yeah,
and it's exquisite.
yeah.
And,
Right.
yeah. Have you been to Hansen Dam?
I haven't, but I'm making my way through Los Angeles, as you know.
Yeah. Well, if you want to see what about 10 yards down our street, 10 meters down our street, that's a photograph. So that is due east of us. And in the foreground, there's a canyon. It's called it's called Cagle Canyon. And in the next canyon over, between the green and the sort of brown, is something called Osborne, and that's a Little Tahunga Canyon. And beyond that is the San Gabriel Mountains. And we've had the snow on the mountains before, and the lake at Hansen Dam used to be a big lake. We used to swim in it and have, all kinds of fun things to do on it.
Yeah.
And now it is very, very small because of what we've done to nude the mountains of the trees and so many other things.
Where are you, Joseph? Where are you based?
I'm in Studio City.
That's further south somewhere.
South of North Hollywood, north of Beverly Hills, west from Universal City, southwest from Burbank.
Oh, but it's north of the hill.
It's
Right.
north of the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're shifting I just want to comment about that. Our time shift. Sometimes between Europe and LA, it's like 9 hours. This time it's 8 hours. Still, US changed to the.
Oh, you haven't changed the daylight saving.
We do it
Yeah,
on
this
this
time
weekend.
switch. That's the hour.
Yeah.
People
Oh,
catching up. Yeah.
Yeah, this weekend.
Is it? Okay.
oh, I get it. So it's only 6:30 for you.
11:30 a.m.
Yeah, oh, yeah. So it's 6:30 my time.
Yeah. There you go.
6:30 my time as well.
Oh, really, Jonas? I would have thought it's 7:30 in Sweden. Why are you
It
saying
is
6:30?
because it's 1 hour before my time because they haven't switched to daylight saving yet.
Right, but it is actually
Mm.
7:30 in Sweden.
Yes.
Yeah, I gathered that much. Okay, otherwise you'd confuse me. Confuse the crap out of me. So next week we'll be back to what we used to.
We'll be back to
Yes.
normal. What is normal?
So
And then
that's
we're
what
not normal.
that was what you were on about, Kurt, that we were off time, sort of thing. I didn't quite understand what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's why we're lasting longer, and it doesn't matter anyway because what's time to us anyway? It's all what we create.
Yeah.
Well, that's why, when I wanted to get married again, I thanked God for the perfect relationship within the year. Because if I just said the perfect relationship, he might wait till the day I die or something to have the perfect relationship, or whatever. And 4 months later, we were married and never had a date.
Bonkers.
As they say, inshallah.
Mm.
So is there any other way we can play together today that would be, you feel would be meaningful way to be now?
I think we could, I'm not sure whether it's playful, but send some healing to Jamaica. Because I don't think it's quite got there yet, has it? So
Thank you for that offering. We can just send it right now.
And then it's going to cross the Atlantic and come here.
It gets to go everywhere.
Yeah.
How about that thought? Peace on earth. Everywhere.
Yeah. But it calms down when it crosses cold waters.
Yes.
but it's going west, isn't it? I don't think it's coming east again.
According to the map, it will. So Jamaica, and then turn to Bahamas, and then out across the Atlantic.
Oh, okay. That's joyful.
But yeah, like you said, the cold Atlantic is going to slow it down. I don't know how
Yeah.
much of it we'll even get to see and experience.
The trouble with that is it's warmer than it should be at the moment here in UK. So it's probably warmer everywhere. It's apparently 30 degrees, the sea around where it is at the moment. The sea is 30 degrees, apparently.
What? No way. Come on.
Celsius.
So that might be what's causing all the
Oh, you mean on that?
five,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Well, it's interesting because most people don't understand that the ocean is actually the bigger regulator of the temperatures than anything else. And also the feeder of the world, and also the oxygen, and so on. And that's one of the problems with our so-called education. And Wolf Sundstrom's been putting out some interesting substacks.
Saying goodbye. I'll see
Franka?
you next Tuesday if we are not in touch earlier.
Auf Wiedersehen. Shalom, salam.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Peace, everybody. Bye-bye. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
So, what is it? Is it that am I early or late?
The two of you that are left have come on late.
We came in at the same time, Jonas.
Yeah.
So you get to write, why are we so happy, healthy, and holy 150 times each?
Yes. We
Did you
missed
ever
an
have to
hour,
do that?
Jonas.
Did you ever have to do that in school
can
as
share.
writing? They call them standards.
Yes,
At
they
least
don't do that now. I'm not sure they make. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, at least I gave you an affirmation and an inclusive one, because
Yes,
most
thank
people
you.
only know the book Affirmations, and that's the question. But when we make it an inclusive affirmation, it includes all of our relations, including in the ones that speak and fly and all the others. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a great week.
Good.
Where do you live, Lynn? Where in Britain do you live?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hear you say. I live in Kent, which is the far southeastern county, and a coastline. You can see France because it's only 22 miles from that bit. So, yeah.
Yeah, next doors. I can wave to you over there.
Yes. Yeah, I've been trying to move, but things keep stopping me. So right now I'm just being, because it's almost made me stop so that I can actually gather the new energy, because at the moment, for many, many decades, I have felt earthquakes before they happen if they were over a Richter scale of 6, before they happen. So I got the tremors and the those sorts of things. So right now, I just, it's almost like I'm on another vibration. And this week in particular, that's changed again. So that's all I'm doing now. I'm just being. And it's amazing what's happening because I'm just being. I'm having people, I mean, today I've had an hour and a half on the phone and 2 hours on a Zoom, nearly 2 hours on a Zoom, from people I wouldn't have expected to. So it's almost like it's changing my energy's changing. So it's more enriched because I'm more at peace now than I've been for a long time. So
That's good.
that's where I am
That's nice.
physically in Kent.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Could have been better, could it?
Magic.
So, is that trembling? Is that what have you pinpointed sort of some kind of source of origin for that? Yeah, apart from the earthquakes, is a
Well, I'm very spiritual, I'm very psychic, and I apparently, according to my astrology chart, I came in on the psychic ray. So I suppose until I knew that, I didn't know, that was my energy already. And I mean, my main thing here is I had to do an awful lot of healing for myself because of all the trauma I've gone through throughout my life. But that has brought me into a space where I'm able to heal other people on their level of spirituality. During COVID, I was asked that it was because it was all locked down and everything, and the spiritual healing centre in the county of Surrey on Zoom. I found I was helping because I do counselling and hypnotherapy and that sort of thing, and I found that I was able to help people in the chat afterwards because they only had one morning a week, and the trustees asked me if I'd mind doing counselling so that people could give a donation to the sanctuary because it was the financial side. Through that, I was developing this ability to feel that person either on the phone or in Zoom, and that way it speeded it up because I bring up a story that I was getting similarities to, not wanting to say what I was doing. And invariably they say, oh, that's practically why I want counselling. So I was able to do a lot of people, and also the ones that were spiritually evolved enough because I could feel that I was able to help them rest in peace more with the work I was doing.
Brilliant.
So I'm
Beautiful.
just very grateful really that I'm on that path despite what I had to go through to get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, some of us go through hell and some of us get to be able to just fly any which way without any hell. We just come in with different
baggage.
Well, either that or just good or bad karma.
Yeah, it's definitely karma. It's whatever path we're on now, isn't it? And we're all here now for a particular reason, aren't we? So
it's like I can look at why did I get on a hijacked airplane or have to be at schools that had weapons pulled on me and all that, and if it's my karma, what did I do to be able to cause that? So hopefully I wasn't as bad as what's been happening to me to somebody in the past, but it seems like I may have, if that's how karma works. So, but again, I must have had some good karma to be able to make it so that I went through those particular processes in the most peaceful way that I could imagine anybody going through them.
Is
Because maybe you
causality
didn't.
important?
Sorry.
Pardon?
Is causality that important? Does things have to happen for a reason?
No, I don't think so at all. I'm not
Mm.
worried about that. That's why I said, that's what they say about karma or what. I don't get caught up in dogma at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
No,
we had interesting discussion about that because, Tuck is like I said, an academician, and I'm way off the charts in other ways.
mm,
I think it's being in tune with with the love, the unconditional love that holds us all on the planet, and whatever we feel in God or Jesus, whoever we feel most connected to, I think it's whatever feels right for us to help other people and bring them to love and peace ultimately. It's quite simple in that way.
It is, isn't it? That's why I taught
uh-huh.
meditation all over the place.
Mm,
Any which way we can have peace.
yeah. So that nothing else gets in the way and prevents you from actually helping in that way.
I had a discussion with ChatGPT the other day about Stoicism.
Ah,
About what?
Stoicism,
Oh,
Stoicism.
stoicism, yeah, that's it.
Is something that I've been sort of have a hate-love relationship with, and I wanted to figure out why. And so Stoicism was born in the ancient Greece,
Jaco.
and actually it's not one thing, as I've learned, it's not one thing, and it had different origins. One of the related sort of ideas is cynicism. Cynicism comes from Kano, the Greek word for dog. And so these old Greek dudes, they one of them, Diogenes, he lived not in a cage, in a keg, with like a dog. That's why they were called the cynics. And so the whole thing was that the whole ancient Greece philosophical sort of industry was very occupied with the idea of how to live a good life. So that's something we all battle, right? Less and less, I guess, with age in a way, because it's in the past, and which is actually a relief in a way to me. I think it's like, how do you lead a good life? And one of the ideas that the Cynics and later the Stoics, they came up with ideas that happiness doesn't come from materialism. It doesn't come from those kind of worldly things. And you can even live as a dog and own nothing and be poor and etc. and be very happy. Or actually not necessarily happy, but leading a good life. And if there is a distinction, I think there is. And so, but I always have, because I realized that Stoicism has influenced CBT, for example, cognitive behavior therapy, and it influenced, I think, neoliberal thought. So I've been tracking something that actually for quite a while, that I realized that the origins of psychology and the origins of neoliberal thought, they came from Vienna in the 1920s. With Freud and a bunch of guys von Mises and Hayek and all these kind of people, they gathered in Vienna, and they came up with this idea that we are in our psyche, we are individuals, and then it's sort of that the idea that I am me, sort of that the whole concept of that idea. And then I think it was Hayek or von Mises, and I remember he moved to Chicago, and they started the Chicago School in economics. And so that's where they had a young guy called Milton Friedman was working at that school, and he picked that up. And Ayn Rand was part of the sort of crowd there. And so Milton Friedman obviously had a Nobel Prize of Economics later, and he influenced the whole neoliberal agenda, influencing Reagan, Thatcher, the whole the post 1968 world development. And it bothered me because at some point a few years ago I wanted, because I felt so stressed out, I wanted to get some therapy, and I had to deal with that. And she offered me CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and I realized what this young lady is talking about is Stoicism. What the heck is going on? And then I realized that, or I researched that, and realized that the guy who came up with CBT was very much influenced by Stoicism. But and that's what I did with all these ChatGPT discussions the other day, that I wanted to understand how could they get it so wrong, that from on one end it was about living as a dog in a keg, owning nothing. And then all of a sudden it becomes about almost like a Atlas Shrugged in the Ayn Rand thing, that I am holding the weight of the world on my shoulders. I am sort of Superman in a way. And this whole individual development of it all. And I couldn't really get an answer, but I could see that pattern, and that's why and there's also actually a original, or in thought, a relationship between Christianity and Stoicism. They sort of depart from the same idea in a way, and that is that there is something true before the action, that is something that is preconceived as more true than anything else, and then you have to act accordingly, rather than we don't know what the truth is yet, we need to figure out how to act accordingly. I find that stuff interesting.
Well, I subscribe to the Daily Stoic, and I get daily inputs of Stoic philosophy from a guy named Ryan Holiday, and he's got a podcast.
Be careful. Be careful.
Oh, I am. I play with Stoicism in that in some ways, because like I like the four virtues type of a thing or whatever, and it's something that has been a tool for me, because it'll excite an idea in my mind about what this body is inspired to do, that may be prompted by that, or the opposite of that, or something similar to that. And that's why it's worked for me in the past for a number of years. I actually met the guy in Hollywood, because not in Hollywood, but he lived in West LA area, and now he lives in outside of not Dallas, but Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
He's a prolific writer as well as a podcaster and so on.
What I realized from my little journey there was that at some point Stoicism became instrumentalized, rather than having the sort of a I don't need nothing. It's like that. One of the greatest stories, I'm sure you've heard it, is Diogenes, I think it was, one of these Greek philosophers, sitting under a tree. He's totally poor, owns nothing, and but he is enjoying the sun, the early spring sun, and is having a wonderful day. And then Alexander the Great and his powerful army came by, and Alexander the Great stopped. Halt! This is Diogenes. I want to speak to this great philosopher. So he is dismounted and walked across to Diogenes and oh, I really admire your ideas. Is there anything I can do for you? And Diogenes just says, well, thank you very much, but if you just could move slightly to the right, I would appreciate it, because you're blocking the sun for me.
Yeah.
Mm.
Pure and simple.
Yeah. So that part of Stoicism is wonderful.
Yeah.
But
But
it
it's
cannot.
also, again, being in the moment. See, in that moment, that's exactly the perfect response.
Absolutely.
Because he's being totally true to himself and the experience that he was allowed to create. And he was the creator of his reality by simply answering that question the way he did.
Yeah. But you don't have to instrumentalize it. That's
No.
the
Yeah.
that's a tricky part.
Well, there's where you have to be present, be here now.
As you say about the dogs, I mean, it's sort of ironic, really. If you reverse dog, it's God, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And maybe there's a mix up.
Well, I think it's got mixed up.
Maybe God was a dyslexic.
Yeah,
Sorry?
the dog was dyslexic.
Yeah, or God.
Well, the way it looks at, if God is God, why is it that in the name of God so many people have been killed?
They are dogs.
That's right. They act like dogs, but dogs don't even act like that. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Dogs do not eat up as many dogs as they can, or too much food, or whatever. They eat what they can eat. Yeah.
No, any dogma. Dogma.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. I was just mentioning that I had been an altar boy as a Catholic boy, and I used to drink some of the wine before or after Mass or whatever, whenever the priest wasn't around, and not quite the holy boy I should have been, but it tasted good.
Yeah.
So I didn't get into the dog, but I did get into the idea that I wanted to know, love, and serve God, though. And that's what I've been trying to do so much. Serve the highest. Because I don't have to have a so-called God and like Shiva or anything. Although I did use that mantra a lot at one time. Om Namah Shivaya. And I was near you then in the UK with Muktananda in what was it, 82. Or 80, it was 81, excuse me. And they had a BBC program about him. But we were in Surrey, actually.
About who?
Muktananda, who was my teacher that gave me that mantra.
Okay.
He gave me a name, Narayan. Narayan is the aspect of God that's the refuge of all.
I think it's really, really important to go with who or what you feel in your heart. Because again, it's your own truth of existence, isn't it? So.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why I've broken away from being so cultic in that way. And, I've hung out with the Dalai Lama, a number of, hours and stuff like that. And it didn't matter if I get to hang out with you guys.
My pleasure.
Totally mine.
And mine. Mm.
But Kurt does get to go off, and if you guys would like to stay on, I make you both co-host or not, because you can stay chatting if you'd like.
It should go as well. And thank you. It was a pleasure meeting you, Lynn, and I hope to see you again.
Yes, lovely. Thank you for allowing us to stay on as we came in so late.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to be able to be together.
Yes, well,
Yeah.
you changed it to Tuesday, which is brilliant because I'm usually on the Scientific and Medical Network on a Wednesday, you see, so it always used to mess me up. And so it's much better. But then I was suddenly finding I'd got something on Tuesday, but today, even though it was an hour late, I managed to come in. So yeah, next time. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, we'll see you when we get a
Yeah.
chance to see you.
And I
And
usually keep
Jonas,
track
thank
of that, actually. Since I work a lot with Americans, I usually keep track of that daylight saving thing. But yeah, it's a couple of weeks when we are closer to one another.
Yeah, yeah.
you. I don't know why it's different. Why can't everybody change all over the world
Bloody
every hour?
Americans, they can keep
I think it's crazy to change. Just keep it the same. And,
Well, no,
and then,
because you then get Finland and places where they've never seen any daylight.
well, they
No.
do it at certain times of year anyway.
But they still have that extra people who it does. Dan's always saying we don't need it, nobody needs it, and I said, well, you do because some countries don't have the light we have because we're nearer the equator, you know. So you can't just sort of suddenly decide the grid lines are all going to be the same. Or no change of light. I mean, it happened here, didn't it, in the war? So it was more daylight in the summer months, so they could go and bomb the other countries. So you know that's where it started, I think. But I think people enjoyed having the lighter evenings for the nature of summer.
Yeah, but all that is a change in what is called the time. You're still getting the same amount of sunlight as you would if the time did or didn't change. So the only thing that's different is the number on the clock.
Yes, of course, we have to have the clock. So
It's not the sun's fault then.
Yeah, there you go. We got to put some
anyway,
blame somewhere.
Yeah.
yes,
All right. Have a great one. God bless. Cheers.
and you, thank you.